And welcome back to PD Football. My name is Presh.
My name is Darren.
And how are you doing today?
I'm good. As good as can be, I guess. How's everything on your end?
I went to watch a movie today with my brother. We've been going to... Okay, I know we have international listeners, so let me provide some context. The local theatre chain that I go to has these very cheap throwback movies. So... from the 90s, 2000s, whatever.
Can watch like a old school classic.
Yes. So over the last couple of weeks, they've been showing The Lord of the Rings. Incredible trilogy of movies. Just an incredible achievement. The craft and the dedication put into that movie is just some of the best stuff. Unfortunately,
if you've got 3 weeks to set aside, you can watch it.
Yes, that's the thing. This movie was 4 hours 15 minutes. This extended cut of Lord of the Rings. So not a bad 4 hours to spend, but still 4 hours is quite a bit.
A long time to sit in a movie tray.
Yes, I peed like 4 or 5 times. I have a serious problem at the movies. I need to pee a lot. But yeah, aside from that, anything else you want to say before we get into it?
Nah, nothing much. Just a regular weekend on my end.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say both of us had like a busy weekend. So it may not be as deep a dive on the matches as you may want or we may have done in the past, but we're doing our best.
We're doing our best. We'll try to keep it as thorough as we can.
Yeah. So first of all, Leeds named excuse me. We're talking about Leeds 1, Man City. Leeds 0, Man City 1. And Leeds named an unchanged side to the one that drew with Aston Villa last week. Man City made one change with Cherki in for Haaland and a change of shape into a 4-2-2-2 with a box midfield, which is probably the first time we've covered a game with a box midfield. This is kind of a specialty of the Red Bull system, so I'm not sure if maybe Pep Linders brought it over and said, hey, let's try this out, or...
Could be that. It looked a bit very similar to more of like a De Zerbi style to me, though. But
it used to dominate in central areas with the fullbacks providing the width. So that's the general idea of it. I've seen it at Liverpool a couple of times. But yeah, this is the first time we're covering it, so I thought I'd mention that. And Leeds were pressing, but you know how there's certain pressing triggers? So for example, if a defender like...
a heavy touch.
has a heavy touch, that's an immediate pressing trigger. Like 3 or 4 guys, the 3 or 4 closest guys should be making a
hounding
move.
him,
Yeah, a move to pressure him if he does something like that. The defender does something like that. But Leeds' press was kind of time-based. So they pressed really hard the first 5-10 minutes. Then like the last 5-10 minutes of the first half.
And it was man-to-man most of the time. It wasn't really like triggered by counter-pressing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. There were no triggers. It was just them pressing really aggressively and really high.
A bit of like old school football in a way. Everyone runs after their own marker,
Yeah, and City can't get out of their half, right? That 5 to 10 minutes, they were just stayed camped in their half. It was really...
I mean, Leeds have done this to quite a few teams recently, so it's not something new, I mean, we've spoken about how far Daniel Farke seems to have come along in his tactical development.
Yeah, I'll mention that just now. Oh, actually, we can mention it now, but we've been kind of contemplating why Daniel Farke has become so defensively resolute recently, where his Norwich team were a mess, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
They finished like a distant 20th when they were in the league.
Premier League, yeah. I mean, they started well. I think they won their first 3.
Well, no, there was one season, the season they went down, and their first game was against us, and we beat them 3-2, and they gave us like a very scary...
They had put in a decent show.
Or am I thinking about Leeds?
No, I think you're thinking about Leeds. That was the 4-3.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had a really good game with them, and Bielsa was the guy in charge at the time. But yeah, why am I mentioning this?
You're talking about Daniel Farke.
Yes. So I realized he's playing with the back 3, which you would say, okay, I haven't been watching enough Leeds games for that to really get into my skull. But when I saw him playing with the back 3, I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now. It's not that they're really well drilled. It's just that there's an extra man that can cover if someone were to make a mistake. So that's why they look much more solid than Norwich.
Previous seasons. Yeah,
yes.
I mean, well, it depends. I guess the fact that they're also generally, I guess, in almost every game they play, they're controlling some portion of it. Maybe that would speak more to his coaching coming along. Like, I mean, everyone can use a back three.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. There are coaches who use a back three and are not defensively resolute. So it does come back to Farke's coaching and Farke learning.
They are able to sustain pressure a lot. I think even when we played them, it was one of the more difficult games for the season, I think.
So after that 5-10 minutes, let me say during that 5-10 minutes, Leeds had, or let me say Calvert-Lewin had 2 golden chances very early on, that he was in space and he just put it wide, and it was very frustrating.
It was easier to, one of those ones where some people would say it was easier to miss, easier to score than miss.
Easier to score than miss, and yeah, just very frustrated with him because we know how good he can be.
Yeah, I mean, he's a bit like Olivier Giroud in a way. You know what he can do, but he doesn't do it as much as you'd like him to, you know.
I was hoping they would score and that would open City up more, you know, because City have been playing very poorly, and I was hoping that, you know, going one down they would, you know, dig deep and like play
start
better
getting
football.
Their patterns together.
But yeah, Leeds didn't score or, you know, make use of their pressure. So but after that 5-10 minutes, City get like, they take more control of the game with more possession, but are lacking creativity. Every attack ends with a poor final pass. They're not even getting to the shot. It's just them playing around in midfield, passing. Attack breaks down, restart. Passing. Attack breaks down, restart. Very frustrating to watch. This game, I'm not gonna lie, this was a very bad game.
Yeah, it wasn't a good advertisement for the Premier League. I guess you could also see the tiredness in both players. I guess lack of risk taking, but I think in the end, what is it? I think Man City were probably more focused on just trying to get over the line right now. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I would say Leeds are not really good at set pieces. Their delivery was nowhere near the danger areas. So every time they put in a cross from a corner, it just went wildly off target. And I was like, again, very frustrated because like these are the games you want to see City under the cosh, you know.
Yeah, at least do something. I mean, the one thing I think...
not that I'm an Arsenal fan that's like preying on City's downfall, but like I want to see good attacking football, you know. Yeah, that's okay. Sorry, you were saying something. I just rudely cut you off.
No, you don't need to apologize. I'm just saying that I think what is it with Man City and even Arsenal to an extent now, they're both teams that can, I guess, they lose control for large portions in the game, whereas Arsenal can defend better, so we don't give as many chances away during those periods. But definitely, I think without De Bruyne, without Rodri being at his best, you can see that City have to control games in a different way. But the one thing I'll give them generally is that when they get control of a game, it's very hard, like, for the opposition to wrestle it back. Even if you can create a couple of chances on the transition against them, I think once they're in control of the game, they at least keep hold of the ball well enough to limit what their opposition does, which is why I think it'll be very close, and I expect both teams to win most of their games.
Okay, then Leeds are eventually opened up, like, very near to halftime.
Yeah.
So, like I said, first 5-10 minutes Leeds pressed. Last 5-10 minutes of the half, they also pressed. Now City break that press, get into midfield, and then Cherki plays an unbelievable ball, which puts Aït-Nouri into space. Aït-Nouri crosses and Semenyo taps in.
Reminiscent of KDB a bit.
That's not the comparison I was going to make. The comparison I was actually going to make was David Silva.
Oh yes, even
He's
so.
the guy who would make the pass before the pass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He would put in Sterling or Sane into space, and then they would cross to Aguero or, you know, whoever. Change the names as you see fit, but I just remember David Silva being the one who would like open up a team and not get the credit because
Bernardo, one of the Silvas.
Yeah. In fact, okay, we just watched the highlights, rewatched the highlights now, but during the match I thought that was Bernardo who played the ball, and I was like, wow, Bernardo, he's doing it all on his own.
He's back on form.
Yeah, but Aït-Nouri was the real architect of this goal. So
Cherki.
Excuse me, Cherki was the architect of the goal. Aït-Nouri was, I guess, his tool.
I mean, Cherki has that, he's always had that. Like, I think he's right now, if there's any player in the Premier League who, you know, just needs a moment to define the game, it's him right now. Like he can disappear for large portions of the game, but
I did
in
think
5 or 10 minutes he can swing the momentum.
I did think he had a poor
ability.
game.
Yeah, exactly.
Aside from that, like overall play, because let me not circle him out. Like the entire Man City team weren't having a great game, so to be like, oh, it was churky, like I'm not blaming
I think
him.
Rodri had a good game.
Yes, okay, yeah, a few people had a good game. I don't want to, let me say, in an offensive sense, no one really had a good game.
Yeah.
Leeds or Man City, because
it was a moment of brilliance,
That's all it took, yeah. Another thing I want to point out is that Cherky stamped on a Leeds player's leg and just got a talking to. I'm not saying red card, but that's definitely a yellow.
At least some punishment. But then again, it's like, if it's not if the ref doesn't see it, unless it's a red, like a 100% red card challenge, I don't think they're going to go back and change their decision very often.
But still, a stamp is, that's not good play, or what's the word? Fair play. That's,
yeah, it should be. Like, I think there should be certain rules where, even for diving, for example, obviously, like, I think context says, like, sometimes you have to dive out of the way of a bad tackle, which is different. But I think retrospective action should be something that's more considered in the game, because I think it would get players to consider what they're doing more as well when it comes to trying to manipulate the ref or manipulate, I guess, the narrative of the game through illegal means,
Alright, then I want to say the second half starts, and again, it follows that same pattern. Leeds come out pressing really high, really aggressively. City just absorb the pressure, let it happen, and then after that 5-10 minutes, they gain control again. And I thought Semenyo had very little time on the ball and was poor when he had it. Again, I don't want to, single him out. I want to say City's whole attack was poor.
Again, it was a bad performance and they won. So it's like if that's a bad performance, I guess, and you're still winning, it's hard to criticize, because I guess unless it's but the one thing I'd agree with you on is that I would say it's a pattern of them playing this way for like a couple of weeks now. But again, I think it is conceivable that a team that can be that good in attack can, at least till the end of the season, chalk off enough results to win something, So it depends. It could swing either way, I think, on as far as Man City is concerned. I think in the Champions League it will affect them a lot, because I don't see them leaking this many chances and getting to the final, especially on that side of the draw. But in the Premier League, I think both them and Arsenal, the vulnerability from each side, I think it's going to go right down to the wire,
Alright. The big talking point of this match, in terms of the title race, was that there was a handball from Mateus Nunes in the box. And his arm does make like a movement towards the ball. But first of all, it was just blasted at him extremely quickly. So he didn't have time to move out of the way. And his arm was already moving that way before the ball was kicked. So to me, it's not a penalty, but a lot of people have come out and said that it's the City agenda. Once again, they're being propelled to a Premier League title on the backs of referees.
I mean, we said it like last week.
We say it every week that the refs are bad. It's not
a specific team,
Yeah, and there's no narrative that the referees are trying to enforce. It's
just the PG MOL having shitty refs,
Yeah. So in this case, I think the correct decision was made, but to a lot of people, it was very controversial.
And again, there's so many, like, it's like, what's the discrepancy or the transparency with the rules, because sometimes it's given, sometimes it's not. Like we said before, just let the VAR decide. Give him a rule book, he obeys it 100%, tells the ref what to do, and then move on. It's not like you have to make it overly complicated and make the ref like a significant part of the game. The ref is just supposed to be the organizer of the game. They're not supposed to be the coaches or the players or someone who gets any more, I guess, limelight than just being the referee,
The last point I want to bring up in regards to this game has nothing to do with football. It has to do with the Muslim players were breaking their fast for Ramadan. I believe this is called iftar, right?
Yeah.
So during iftar, the Leeds fans were booing the Man City players who were eating their whatever they eat. I don't know. I think it's like a paste that like keeps you full, or like for high performing athletes to replenish their body, so they don't need to have like a
full meal.
Yeah, a full course meal in the middle of a game. But I just thought that was not classy.
Yeah, it's just it's very disrespectful. I mean, we've seen like now it's like it seems to be a theme and an unfortunate theme that's arising in European football. So
there's 3 teams, and okay, let's be honest. Every single fan base has idiots, right?
Yeah.
Let's not target certain teams, but I am about to target certain teams. So Leeds, Chelsea, and Millwall. Those are the 3 where racist incidents always pop up, and you would hope that the I don't know who it would be, but the relevant people kind of try to make a stop. You know what I'm saying?
Which is kind of a shame, you know, because I think, especially in the case of Chelsea, they're like one of the biggest clubs in the world, and they have a lot of black fans, you know. So
So I don't want to call it Islamophobia, but that's why it's leaning towards that. It's leaning towards that because the Leeds fans were booing everything. It's not like they.
I mean, it essentially is, because how much of a big deal did I haven't seen it in the media. I didn't even know about it till you brought it up. But I'm saying how much of a big deal was made a couple of years ago when your fans disrespected the Queen, which is, I mean, everyone has their own political beliefs. You can understand where people are coming from, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, okay, if there's something wrong with the Liverpool fans doing that, surely there should be something wrong with the Leeds fans not respecting.
Okay, I think that's way different, but, you know, because, like, the Queen and the Crown committed some heinous crimes.
I'm not saying...
Like,
I'm saying...
I understand individual Islamic people have, like, done terrorism or whatever, but that doesn't reflect on...
No, I know. I get where you're coming from. I'm saying that the Liverpool fans could have been right or wrong. It doesn't matter. It's Islamophobic in the sense that this issue is not even being highlighted. Like, I didn't hear about it. Maybe you brought it up now, but it's certainly not like something that was like, oh, the Leeds fans are doing this in the same way that, oh, the Liverpool fans are booing the Queen.
Are you saying, like, the same amount of stink wasn't made in both cases? Okay, exactly. That makes more sense. All right. Is there anything else you want to say about the game or surrounding the game, or any notes you just have?
I mean, you know, like, I think... we'd say the same thing about the Arsenal performance later, but when you're in the title race, if you play bad and win, I think at this stage of the season, it's not a bad thing. I don't think it's like Man City fans should be too worried. I don't think Leeds fans should be too worried. If they watch their team play, they should definitely think they're going to be safe this season. I think out of all the teams in the bottom right now, who are, you would say, more or less involved in the relegation scrap,
you'd say Leeds are probably the safest.
I'd say Leeds are the safest in terms of the football they're playing, you know.
Alright, so let's move on then to Arsenal 2, Chelsea 1. Again, Arsenal unchanged from the team that beat Spurs last week, so pretty much their full strength team. I know you would disagree and say Yoker is out for Havertz and maybe Hincapie out for Calafiori.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my first choice. But again, like
but I'm saying for Arteta,
for the course of the season, this would be the first choice. I still think if Calafiori is available, he's been injured most of the season, but if he's available, I think he'll be the...
Okay, so let's say this is the best first team you have available.
Yeah.
Alright. Chelsea made 2 changes to the team that drew with Burnley. One was enforced with Mamadou Sarr in for the suspended Wesley Fofana and Hato in for Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto is obviously a right back, but he played at left back for Burnley, and I'm assuming because Hato is naturally left-footed, he would fit in better.
Yeah, I think they were thinking about the one-on-one defending, which is Hato. Something is not Hato's strong point anyway.
Yeah,
so
I don't rate Hato. You know, it's not just based on this game. Over the past couple of games, I've watched him, and obviously he's inexperienced. He's like 18, 19.
I think, like, again, I've watched him a little bit at Ajax as well, and I think he has good technical traits. I think he's just been thrown into the deep end too early, following bad agent advice again.
Okay, could be. I have no idea, but I just thought every time Malo Gusto is on the pitch, he looks better than...
Yeah, I mean, Malo Gusto is generally a good one-on-one defender, and he's good at inverting. So, I mean, if those are the things you want... Like, again, I guess it's like, what is the thing? It's probably like the technical level from Hato is probably what Rosinha is looking at in terms of building around. I think he's probably thinking about the longevity of the team or the long-term future of the left-back option. In which case, I would say that I'd see Gusto as more of a right-back or like an auxiliary who fills in when either of them are injured. But again, for the same reasons you mentioned earlier, I wouldn't say he's an out-and-out left-back. Whether Hato's the right choice or not, I think time will tell. But
it's because of Cucurella being injured. Hato is not their preferred left back.
Yeah, I mean, Cucurella, I think, he's probably decent for me. I still think
they can do better.
I still think, like, in terms of Chelsea going up another level, he needs to be able to, like, at least create more or become a certainty defensively, where it's like, he's gonna win almost all his duels, or at least overlap more. Something like Ben White, who's like, okay, if you know exactly what you're getting out of him in a technical sense, so it supports the structure more. But I guess I like Heto from what I've seen in terms of when I've seen him play at Ajax, and I don't know if he will be the same at Chelsea, but I would say right now Chelsea don't have anything to lose by making him the left back option for the long run.
So both teams were working hard off the ball to pressurize the other team, but it's Arsenal's press that was way more effective at getting Chelsea to be bottom.
Again, we pressed off, like what we said about Leeds going man-to-man. In this game, we pressed off of triggers a lot. So it was like, okay, the minute someone had a loose touch, we're on them.
Especially
Sanchez,
who had a few, let's say, scary moments.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very uneasy game for a Chelsea fan from your goalkeeper, I mean, if you were a Chelsea fan, having a goalkeeper that's that uneasy would make you very insecure every time he had the ball,
On the other hand, Arsenal were breaking Chelsea's press, but every time they broke the press and had space to get into the final third, the attack fizzled out, which was a shame. Chelsea when they were in possession were in the back three with Hato as the left-sided centre back, and Reece James was pushed all the way up, to offer more width.
Yeah, and I guess use his crossing and his passing range better.
Yes. As a consequence, I thought Chelsea's left-hand side was very
passive.
But just the way Rosinho set them up, I don't think they could have done more.
I thought obviously we were using hindsight here. I thought Chelsea were pretty well set up in terms of they troubled us more than I thought they would, and they contained us more than I thought they would as well. I mean, at the end of the day, it came down to set pieces from both teams. In a lot of ways, I think we're going to see a lot of elite games going forward in the Premier League, I think, decided by the set play, because tactically teams and technically teams become so close. You split the margins usually through set plays. It becomes, I guess, the things by which the fine margins are decided,
Speaking of which, you just mentioned that set plays decided it. Arsenal's goal, or their first goal, comes from a corner. Honestly, I think it was a poor delivery, totally overhit. But Gabriel is able to get to it and head it back into the danger zone, and Saliba finishes it off with the help of a Chelsea defender. I'm not sure. I think it was Sarr.
It was Sarr. Yeah.
I think it was Sarr, but he headers it onto Sarr and then it goes inside. So, good goal. Like I said, Saka overhit it, but it's good that they can, change in the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then, for certain portions, Arsenal were defending in the mid-block. They let Chelsea come at them, and then when they were in the middle, just
very nervous. I think the performance became a bit emotional. Skew passes, Zubimendi losing the ball a lot, trying to dribble, trying to pass back. So I think Zubimendi is very weird. I think he's maybe getting used to the intensity of the Premier League in terms of duels. It's probably something he's not used to, but there's minutes in the game, periods in the game where he does so well in terms of breaking the press, in terms of controlling the game, that it'll be just extend this to a 90-minute game and we have no problems. But when he makes mistakes, they make you very uneasy, because they can be mistakes that practically an assist to the opposition striker.
Alright, just a quick side note. Do you think it's possibly because Arteta hasn't rotated him enough?
Yeah, so I think he could be possibly being overplayed in terms of... it's hard to say. I think at the end of the day, when we look at a lot of sixes, they generally absorb minutes more than other players. So it's not necessarily something that's I could say you could pin on Arteta or Zubamendi. I think no matter where he went, if he had come to you guys, I think he was going to have the same, like...
No, it's just something that we've been speaking about pretty much every week, that it's like, oh, Zubamendi's playing again.
Yeah, I would understand, like I would give Norgard a game. Like, I get you, but I think, like, right now, we're not controlling games in a way where it's like we can afford to bench him, because he still creates a lot going forward. He's still our best press breaker, our best line breaker in terms of passing as well. So it's like, it's hard to get, like, to conceivably replace him when the margins are so fine. If Norgard has a poor game, then he doesn't offer you anything. It's we lose the game. Whereas Zubamendi can have a bad game, and 10 minutes he can still facilitate enough play, generate enough play for you to do something, you know.
Okay, so Gyökeres, he's in the penalty box, and I think it's Chalobah who gets the ball off him, and then Gyökeres clearly dives. And I thought he should have been booked for a dive, because that was really blatant.
Yeah, shocking. But at the same time, this is what I'm saying, you have to go, like, I think diving like that should be something that you could go back retrospectively and say, give this player a 3-match ban, because, like, what's the, like, how many times a player's gonna do it, you know? And it's like, where's the, like, where do you draw the line as a defender now? It's because like, I mean, you know, it's like, it's something that I guess we've seen some of the greatest players of previous generations do, so it became normalized. But at the same time, I'm not against diving to avoid a heavy challenge if a defender comes to bash you. That's different. I think diving to gain an advantage or cheat is just, it's very weird, because that happens more than people diving out of the way of a challenge.
So Declan Rice is committing a penalty offence in holding the Chelsea player, like, with both hands, and a second penalty offence because it hits his elbow while making a jerking motion.
Yeah, so, it should have been a penalty.
So two different instances, whichever you want to give.
Blame the PGMOL. We're speaking about it for Arsenal, for Man City. You know, it's not a specific team. Every team is going to get decisions against them. So,
but justice is served because Reece James or Hincapie scores. So it was given as a Hincapie own goal, but
you said you didn't feel. I mean, I saw a swing in the ball. It's hard to tell, I guess.
To me, like, the ball was swinging already going into the net, and Hincapie kind of misses the ball and goes straight. So I thought that was a Reece James Olympico.
I think the PGMOL are going to get the cricket Hawkeye to just bring more attention on themselves in situations like this.
Ultra edge on his head. Yeah, and speaking of which, Reece James had a really excellent game.
Yeah, Reece James, I would say, was probably the best player on the field for me.
Both going forward and defensively. He just, very influential in this game. And then in the second half, I would say there was kind of a role reversal. It was Chelsea who looked more dangerous with corners, and they were getting more corners too. Yeah,
I mean, like, I think in a weird way, all three of the last games between Arsenal and Chelsea have had a similar theme. You know, I think Rosinia mentioned it in his post-match conference. Arteta also mentioned it, that all three games were like a game of two halves with the momentum swung, and I guess our defense just kind of won it for us. I would say Arsenal's best player for me was Saliba. Saliba put in a great performance, so I think having him back, if he plays like that till the end of the season,
and he scored.
Yeah, and he scored as well. So I think that would be huge. But we also lost Declan Rice, which might be even huger. So
what do you mean you lost Declan Rice?
He walked off with an injury, so it looks like a hamstring. I don't know how bad it will be, hopefully. But if
that didn't look too bad to me. Like, I didn't think, like, Rice is out for a few weeks now.
I didn't either, but from what I've been seeing on social media is that it might be more serious.
Is it confirmed, or is it just people speculating?
Speculation, but you never know. I'm just I'm hypothesizing myself. So
because I swear there was a game, like, earlier this season where Rice got fucked up. And we're like, Rice is out for a few weeks, and then the next game week he's back and pumping oaks. Yeah, so
I would hope so, because I would say that, like, if he's injured for 4 or 5 games, I mean, I still think we could get through them. But if he picks up like a 1 or 2 month injury where he has to get back into the rhythm, for us, I think we don't have a replacement for him.
Rice,
not players that will break up play and carry the ball as much as him. I don't think we have a.
Is there no backup 8?
We potentially could put Miles Lewis-Skelly in the 8. That would be my most probable internal solution, unless you could move Odegaard there, who's not as good, not anywhere close to as good as Rice.
Who is Rice's backup?
That's the thing. I think it usually is. Waneri used to play there sometimes in the 10 or the 8. He's at Marseille now, so
you can't say like a 16-year-old is the backup to Rice.
Yeah, but for the last half of last season and the first half of this season, he was the one who filled in. Odegaard moved to the 8. He came in the 10. Rice would fill in as the backup for the 6. I think sometimes the option in theory for me would be Miles, because that's the only one I could see, and I think that's...
Why hasn't he been... sorry to interrupt, but why hasn't he been playing as much this season, do you think?
I mean, when he's played, he hasn't played well. But again, it's just... it's a thing. Maybe something... I don't know. He's just out of form. Players can have a season where they're out of form, especially at that age. But when I've seen him, he hasn't been good. So I think that's why he hasn't been given a chance in the starting lineup.
But to me, that's on a Slot logic, right?
Yeah.
Slot won't play you... Slot will play you one game. If you have a bad game, he won't play you. But how are you supposed to build up form if you don't get game time, you know?
Yeah, I think... But again, we haven't really needed him this season, because at left back, Hincapié has been better than him defensively, and Rice has been like our best player of the season by a country mile, so I don't think Rice has been movable as far as the number 8 is concerned. I mean, the couple times I've seen Rice rotated, I think it was just like a makeshift midfield. Sometimes people from the academy would come in, sometimes Norgard would fill in the 8, Zubimendi 6, Zubimendi 8, Norgard 6. So it's hard to say. I think we don't have a Rice replacement though, because I don't think we have another player that can do what Rice does.
Then, nearly everyone in an attacking sense had a bad game. But I want to highlight Palmer, who had very little influence if he doesn't score or assist. Like, very Salah-like. And that Salah won't do anything unless he's scoring or assisting. He won't beat a man, he won't...
press, he won't win the ball back.
He won't put somebody into space, those kinds of things. And the other one I want to highlight is Saka, who really struggled against Hato. And Hato was poor. So, what does that say about Saka? And the reason I'm highlighting the two of them is because they're supposed to be the star players for either side, and neither of them had a good game. So
yeah, I mean, just like Man City, I don't think like Arsenal played one of the best teams in the league. We played badly and we still won. I think Saka, this is like third or fourth game back from injury. I don't.
Oh my God!
I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying that I think the level of like other
not
players,
just you. But every time Saka has a bad game, Arsenal fans are like, he's just coming back from injury, or he's still carrying an injury.
Because he hardly has a bad game.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. When he does have a bad game, there's always these excuses.
He literally only has a bad game when something off the field is pertinent to affecting his performance. Like he had an injury.
But if you're injured and you're carrying a knock, I don't think you should be playing.
Yeah, then you could blame the coach, but I don't think that Saka's the one to blame here.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just pointing out that in this game, him and Palmer, opposing sides both didn't do enough.
Yeah, I agree in that specific game, but I think he's been good recently. Like when he came back from injury, I think he's facilitated a lot of play. The last couple of games, even the ones we drew, he was our best player. I guess the team was just underperforming alongside Rice. Obviously, I'm just taking Rice as nominally being the best player in almost every game we play now, because that's what it is, But I mean, I think the thing is, like with Palmer, you could ascertain that as being a general trait of his. I don't think with Saka you could say that, because Saka is probably had one or two spells in his career where he's been out of form and hasn't affected play,
But I will say, like, he really struggled to beat his man in this game, and that man was Hato. So then I want to say Timber scores. Did you see that goal?
Yeah.
I just thought Sanchez was way too weak.
On coming to claim the cross.
Yes. So that's why Timber scored. Timber scored because he's good at headering. I mean, Chelsea didn't prevent it because Sanchez wasn't strong enough, or,
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of games, this game showed the importance of, like, how much difference a top-class goalkeeper can have as opposed to an average goalkeeper, Because I would say Raya won us the game in the end.
I don't know about that, but very soon after, Neto gets 2 yellow cards in quick succession. Very, very poor mentality, very poor decision-making.
Even forgot that he got one.
Bruh, this guy, I was kind of frustrated with Neto. Because at that moment, it's 2-1 to Arsenal. The game is still very much in the balance. You can come back. You can do something here, right? But going down to 10 men, I thought, okay, Neto, you've ruined the game for your team. Because now we'll speak about it just now. He didn't really ruin the game because there were still chances on either side. But
okay, yeah, continue.
But yes, getting a red card unnecessarily, this is the 9th red card that Chelsea have gotten this season in all competitions.
Like, I mean, you can always say, like, what would have happened if they had stayed at 11. But then the other thing I've noticed about Chelsea, which is probably a mentality thing right now, is that they seem to get better when they go down to 10 men. So you can say that, if he had stayed on the pitch and they played that way, they might have won the game. But sometimes they need something to trigger them, to motivate them to play better. I don't think they would have played that way if they hadn't gone down to 10 men. I think Arsenal would have controlled the game till the very end.
All right. I'm just, in a general sense, if a team goes 1 down, it's bad. That's what I'm trying to point out. And Neto, it's not as if though he made a bad challenge and tried to pull out of it. It's 2 very cynical yellow cards, because one for mouthing off to the ref, one for blatant poor tackle on Martinelli, just killing the counter-attack, which is pure yellow card if I've ever seen it.
And probably if we can critique anything about this, it's that the amount of red cards, the discipline in Chelsea's squad probably comes back to validating, like, buying into a lot of players' egos. Like, I mean, we've been speaking about this for a long time before we started the podcast, but the transfer policy is just atrocious. It's like, you can't sign players based on Twitter hype. Sign all the best in inverted commas young players in the world. Expect to put them all in the same team, give them crazy salaries, and now they're all just like, I'm the main guy. Who's going to be the main guy?
Well, they're not. That's actually, I'm going to disagree with you on one point. They don't have crazy salaries. Bowley gave them like Man United will give a crazy salary, like 200k and up. These guys are like on 150 and...
No, but I'm saying these are teenagers, though. These are not like... or early 20s. These are not players who've proved anything. I mean, what is Bino Gittins doing on 100k a week, honestly?
Yeah, sure. Okay. I thought Delap was really awful. Oh, sorry. Did you see the quote from Todd Bowley this week?
No, I didn't.
He said, my recruiting manager left me. So it was up to me, and I had no idea what I was doing, but if Man City wanted Cucurella, then I wanted Cucurella, and that's why we bought him. I was like, that's possibly the most hilarious transfer.
Because then what is the vision?
Yeah, it's just whoever wants somebody, that's mine now.
which makes sense. Like, I mean, if you look in terms of, if you consider probably that Thomas Tuchel walked away as soon as he saw them coming in, and he's one of the best minds in the game, so he probably could see that this board has no understanding of football. The fact that they made him take a hiatus to find himself in India and stuff, it's a separate issue, but...
I don't remember that. What happened there?
Thomas Tuchel, when he quit the Chelsea job, he said he went through a deep depression because he really got close to the squad, and then he went to India, he was meditating and stuff, found himself... came back to the game at Bayern Munich.
I've never heard this.
But I think he saw how dizzy Todd Bowley was, and he's like, there's no way I'm working under this guy.
Yeah. Alright, anyway, back to the match. I really thought Delap was awful. We've spoken about this every time we cover Chelsea, but I'm just like, hey, Delap is awful, right? Which, that's not a new thought. I just think at Ipswich, he had a specific role. Be the bully. Right? But now when I'm seeing him at Chelsea, when he comes up against like really physical centre-backs, he can't do anything. So what's the point of you if
that is taken away from the game?
Your main thing isn't working, then what do you have?
Yeah, again, if going back, if there's anything I'll give Jokeris credit for now, is that he's learning to use his physicality and facilitate play a lot better. So Delap should be doing that if he can see that. I think he still has the mindset of someone who thinks he can be the main player in Chelsea, though, just like he was at Ipswich. So it seems to be as if he's more focused on give me the ball and I'll finish it than like, oh, let me use my body to facilitate play for the other attackers, which is the way it should be, given that he's not the best player at Chelsea, you know.
Okay, cool. The last thing I want to mention about this game is that the crowd were way better. I mentioned in previous games that especially the Liverpool game, the crowd went quiet and they were very like agitated. But this game, they were really behind Arsenal. They were chanting, they were singing up until, even if it was 1-1, the crowd was still way behind them. And like, I feel that's a big
positive.
A positive, but I'm saying a thing that we as watchers from outside don't put enough stock in.
Fully appreciate.
Yeah, we don't appreciate that. A player that's feeling down, they start singing your song, and suddenly you feel, like way better and more confident, and
I mean, yeah, it just depends, Like, I've also heard Real Madrid fans argue that the toxicity of their stadium is what keeps the high standards up,
Yeah, they boo the players that are doing badly. So, yeah. I don't know, to each their own. I haven't been in one of these big...
Though I would agree with you. I don't agree with the Real Madrid approach,
I haven't been to one of these big European arenas where, so I haven't experienced it myself, so I can't
But again,
speak.
That's the Spanish approach, and Spain, in the modern context, has dominated the game, so...
Cool.
To each their own, like you said.
Okay, so I'm done with that. Do you have anything you want to mention about Arsenal 2, Chelsea 1 before we end?
Oh, I mean, if anything, I was just a bit disappointed with Eze when he did play, because he played so well in the last game. But I don't think it's anything personal. I think it's just momentum thing. Again, I want to see him on the left still. I think he would be way better on the left. He can afford to make more mistakes and take more risks than being centrally, where if he loses the ball, it's directly against us, So we don't, I think we're still struggling on the left, and I just hope at some point Eze gets played as the main choice at left wing, at least till the end of the season, Especially with the amount of play Gyökeres is facilitating now. I think just having someone who could spring off the back would simplify the game a lot. But hey, we'll see.
Alright, so moving on, we have our miscellaneous section, where I want to look at the other Premier League results, but usually we would have watched highlights of the game. Unfortunately,
did you watch the Liverpool game?
I did watch that, but aside from that, the rest I didn't watch. So we're in a bit of a time crunch today, so we didn't have time to watch the highlights. So we're just going to go through the results and just 1 minute, thoughts, right? Wolves 2, Aston Villa 0.
I mean, Wolves have picked up form all too late.
The Great Escape. You don't think the Great Escape is going to happen?
It could happen, but I mean, they'd have to win all 9 games. So
it would be very...
I
haven't done the maths, but it's probably...
Even then, if they win all 9 games, it's still very difficult for them. But I would hope, for the sake of having some sort of narrative like that
would be hilarious. I'm not gonna lie to you. Just randomly against Arsenal one day, they're like, "Hey, we should stay in the Premier League."
We should turn it on, and then they win everything else.
Yeah.
And then everyone actually looks at Arsenal like, "Hey, you guys got a point against Wolves."
Yeah, fair enough. This Wolves super team, you made it out alive. Yeah. On the other hand, Aston Villa losing again. I assume they're out of the title race.
I hate to say that. I told you this was good. They're going to finish 5th or 6th.
You actually said they're not in a title race to begin with. So, yeah. It's a shame for Aston Villa. Apparently, Emery didn't shake hands again. He's always been a sore loser, even at Arsenal. That's very poor. I understand you're a winner, you're competitive, blah, 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 but come on, man, just have some professionalism, have some sporting integrity.
Yeah, I mean, I think he also, a couple of seasons ago, when he was at us, not a couple of seasons ago, when we lost one of the games to Man United, I think, and then he was just talking rubbish about the way Solskjaer plays and stuff, which also, I think he's always kind of been like that, But again, he's someone who can bring you turn you into a Champions League level team, and then I think if you want to go further, Aston Villa will have to move on from him.
Alright. Bournemouth 1, Sunderland 1. Any thoughts?
I mean, kind of what I expected in this game, honestly. Both very unpredictable.
I thought Bournemouth would score more. I'm really looking at them every week and I'm like, they could score 3 goals. That's how chaotic and so, attacking they are. It could end up 3-3 every week.
I mean, he's Iraola's probably, I guess since Bielsa left, he's taken that spot of, we'll just go at everyone.
So 1-1, a bit of a shock, but not a bad result for either team, I don't think. Neither of them are in relegation problem.
I think they both...
Neither of them have, bigger ambitions like I guess they might have, but I'm saying for this season.
It's just about closing out the season for them, you know.
Yeah. So nothing really to be said there. Liverpool 5, West Ham 2. And I was really frustrated with this performance. Right. First things first, 3 set-piece goals, which is...
Were they ethical set plays?
Nope, not at all.
You guys copying us now.
We're copying Arsenal. We're putting a man in front of the goalkeeper and then scoring.
But to be honest, like I know, like Slot talks a lot of rubbish and stuff in your opinion, which I agree with. The stuff you've highlighted has been nonsensical from his part. But the one thing I'd agree with him on is that the margins in the Premier League are becoming so fine. I don't think this is necessarily like a theme that's going to go away. I think the defending, the athleticism of teams is so good. I think we're going to see a lot of games in the future, in the next decade, that hinge on set pieces, which is probably not a good thing. It's going to start to resemble an American sport, but they should have never allowed the American owners in.
Now, I don't have a problem with Arsenal winning the league, right? I have a problem with Arteta. So if they got rid of Arteta and got a new manager and won, I wouldn't complain.
But honestly, I think whoever's going to win the league right now is going to have to win it the same way.
Well, let me repeat, right? I don't have a problem with Arteta. I don't have a problem with Arsenal. I do have a problem with Arteta. Why is that? Because he's a defensive manager. And I don't like having a defensive manager win the league, because what does that say about our league? But
again, I think it's like he's played attacking football 2 seasons ago.
And I liked it. I was like, yeah, Arsenal should win the league when they were like such a pleasure to watch at a point. I don't know if it was like 3-4 years ago.
This is, in 22-23 and 23-24, both those seasons we played very openly. We attacked everyone, pressed high every game. But I think it's not necessarily like something that's come specifically from Arteta. I mean, if you look just even at Luis Enrique last season, PSG targeted a lot of throw-ins, a lot of set plays. I think generally it's the way the game's going. And the game is becoming more direct. I think you guys in the past, like obviously you have Pep Guardiola. He kind of is on his own. He stands on his own as like someone who's consistently able to evolutionize the game. But a lot of the ways you guys were able to keep up with them is concentrating on the margins. I think you guys were like more focused on direct play, and a lot of that was set plays, a lot of that was long balls, and I think Arteta's just philosophized that, if that's a word, but he's put it into an ideology where it's like, oh, okay, we might as well target these things because these are the margins where we can win games that are tight. And in the Premier League right now, it seems like almost every game is going to be on a knife's edge at some point, you know.
Well, we're saying Arteta and Slot, but the real people who should get credit is Nicolas Jova and whoever the fuck Liverpool's new
I mean, in a lot of ways, this, from what I understand, this whole blueprint of playing can be traced back to Brentford. Brentford were the team that, like Thomas Frank, I think all their set-piece coaches have gone everywhere now. So it's like, I think something of, like, which is why I expected Thomas Frank to succeed at Tottenham, because I see that, a lot of his ideas are being used and translated. Whether they were his ideas or Jover's ideas when they worked together, who knows? But those ideas were being, I guess, transmitted in a successful way.
Yeah. So last thing I'll say about this Liverpool game, conceding 2 and scoring 3 set pieces, that's a bad sign to me. We should be... I'm not against set pieces. If you can score set pieces, why not? What I dislike is when all your attacking play is geared towards set pieces instead of open play. And if we get a set piece, then sure, why not try score from there?
I think, like, if there's anything that I think will happen, though, in the positive realm, is that just like when football was, like, if you look at the early 2000s when Mourinho, Rafa Benitez, Vicente Del Bosque came along and were dominating the game, defensive football became, like, the archetype that most coaches follow to get success. And then you'd maybe have a player like Wenger, a coach like Wenger, who the game passed on, where he was considered the person playing the most attractive football. Getting to that state, the next evolution will definitely be attacking. So I think if there's anything that's positive that will come out of this, I think people fear-mongering about the state of the game, about the state of individuals. I think individuals will get better, because if defenses get more resolute, you're going to need players to think more. You're going to need more Yamals and Pedris. I think Yamal being a throwback in a lot of sense to old school Brazilian talent and still being able to rise to the top of the game right now, and Pedri being more like an Iniesta or Xavi sort of player, being able to get back to the top of the game. I think those are the sorts of players that will now come about more and more because of defenses being as good as they are.
Just a quick note on that. It is interesting that a lot of international trophies are won by strong defense and playing on the counter.
Yeah,
and Spain won the Euros with just attacking play.
Yeah, Spain have won all their trophies with attacking play. But again, a lot of it goes down to Guardiola. I think it's hard to understand. I think we can't fully conceive of it because we're living through it. It's like one of those things when we look back in maybe 10 to 15 years, we'll realize how truly impactful Guardiola was, you know, and how some of the things he did. Not saying nobody can do them, but it requires a very high degree of talent for football philosophy, for developing systems and understanding man management, being able to, I guess, be a leader of people, a leader of men. It's I don't think people have fully realized how much of what Guardiola has done probably is just never been done and might never be done again. I don't want to say will never because I'm always optimistic, but almost every season he evolves his game, and I don't think that can be said of any other coach in the history of, at least as long as I've watched football, you know.
Yeah. So let's move on to Newcastle 2, Everton 3. Any thoughts?
I didn't watch much of this game, but I think, again, Newcastle, what do you say? Eddie Howe lives and dies by his high press. It's easy enough to pick apart when he's going full intensity. The same things you said about like Leeds, kind of. I guess they just play with the back four, but they go man-to-man. They don't have any triggers. If you beat the first line, it's kind of easy to play through them a bit, you know.
So I have literally nothing to say. I didn't even hear about this game, anything about it. There's just one Newcastle fan I follow that says Eddie Howe out. That's all I've seen about it. But that guy doesn't seem to be very knowledgeable about football. I follow him for other reasons. But
I wouldn't say they should get rid of Eddie Howe, though. I think that would be...
And I mean, he's been there for like, 3-4 years now?
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it's like, what is he working with? Like, I understand, like, I'm the one who's probably more than anyone pointed out that he's a stubborn coach who just lives and dies by his high press. But at the same time, you're getting all your players sold. They're not signing the players you want. It's like it's hard to know whether he's working under conditions that are the best for him to, in terms of squad building, you know, in terms of what he wants.
You would think that the coach would be involved with the squad planning, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he's not making himself heard enough, or I don't know what the case is, but yeah, it's a shame that it's come like this because Eddie Howe is a very talented coach.
Yeah, he is, and I think it could still be a thing of Newcastle if they lose him and all the off the pitch issues get exposed more than we know what's going on. It could end up getting a lot worse for them, you know.
All right. Burnley 3, Brentford 4.
I didn't watch this game. I don't have much to say, but congratulations to Brentford.
So I didn't watch this either, but it was on at the same time as the Liverpool game, and I was kind of checking on my phone. Brentford were 3-0 up at a point. And
damn, they got the win though.
Yeah. So it was Burnley 3, Brentford 4, and Burnley scored a stoppage time equalizer, and VAR overturned it. So a 4-4 draw would have been a instant Premier League classic, but
I think both Burnley and Wolves have seemed to pick up form all too late, you know.
Yeah, it's a shame. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw the highlights of this game. Good goal from Gibbs White. I think Brighton also scored 2 crackers. So I don't know. I think pretty much the same as the Bournemouth game. I think both teams are just Nottingham Forest, I think they're in the relegation battle. Yeah. So, but I think Brighton, you know, I think they're just closing out their season now. So
Fulham 2, Spurs 1.
Well, I mean, what do we say about Tottenham? They're actually looking like they might get relegated right now.
I thought it was kind of a joke, like, oh, Spurs are getting relegated. I looked at the table; they're like 3 points off it. You know?
Yeah, and I've been like watching, like not watching the games, but I've been like seeing the highlights, seeing the match stats and shit. And from what I realized, like in the last couple of, they got completely outplayed by Fulham. It's strange how they were doing well in the Champions League, but I'm sure Atletico is gonna smash them. But it's just I don't know. I wouldn't even I don't want Tottenham to get relegated. As I said, you want your rivals there, but right now it's looking like they might be the most expensive team to probably ever get relegated, right?
Probably. Man United 2, Crystal Palace 1.
I mean, yeah, I heard Man United got outplayed and snuck over the line in the end, so not much to be said there. I guess the same qualms you were bringing up with Carrick persist, so we'll see. I think for them also, just get to the end of the season. It's going to be hard to not give him the job. I think, again, he's going to definitely get them back in the Champions League now, it looks like. So it's still a battle. Like, I think they still could go on a bad run of form, but I think all of the teams that are in the Champions League race are not looking the best, so
Yeah.
I expect them on the balance of it to probably get over the line. But I'm kind of agreeing with you on the fact that I wouldn't give him the job personally, but I don't see how he doesn't get the job with the pressure on from the fans and the board just being as emotional as they have been.
So my cousin, who's a Man United fan, sent me a message saying, "Title charge?" ? To which I said, are you actually watching these games? Carrick, he's been outplayed in every game. He's just been getting good results by,
The
tenacity
quality of the individuals. I mean,
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes has been sensational, so...
Just playing players in their proper positions gives them like a big bump up from what they were doing under Amarim.
Yeah.
Secondly, they have a lot of good players, so beating a Crystal Palace who got a red card is not,
And who've, lost their two best players.
Yeah. If you actually watch...
three, because Mateta's not even playing now, right?
But they have Strand Larsen, so it's not like losing like an 8 out of 10 player and getting a 7 out of 10 player is not the biggest. Maybe those are too high, but
I mean, they
you get
lost,
my point.
They lost. Well, I mean, if you consider the last 2 seasons, they've lost 4 players who probably...
They lost Olise,
Eze, Gueye, and Mateta, who...
and they're going to lose Wharton, and they're going to lose Munoz.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, nothing that Man United should necessarily be saying that, but at the same time, it's like, you understand where they're coming from in respects to results. Like,
Yeah.
they were losing, they lost 18 games last season, so...
Yeah,
Anything's an improvement right now.
I'm praying to the Lord. Actually, I'm praying to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Please give him the job.
Yeah, it'll be good for us, I think.
It will be hilarious, bro. They went through it with Solskjaer and they're doing it again. Where, interim comes in, does an okay job, gets a few good results, doesn't play well, relies on individual quality, and then,
Hopes everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, so I think we're done with that. Our last segment for today is the round of 16 draw. Also, I just want 1 or 2 minutes on each match, even less if you can, because we kind of over time now. We're over 1 hour. So, PSG versus Chelsea.
I mean, I think Chelsea, some people would say they might have a psychological edge, but I think PSG will get through it comfortably right now.
So all I've been hearing about PSG is that they fucked up by selling Donnarumma to Man City. Their replacement Chevalier has been benched for the last 3 months in favor of their backup keeper. So they've been having a lot of games where the keeper has been pretty poor.
But did they fuck up if he didn't want to stay?
I think they didn't want to pay his wages or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Which is crazy if you're PSG to be like, we can't afford these wages.
After he just won you the Champions League.
Yeah, but whatever the case is, apparently they're in a bad position. Chelsea, I wouldn't say are in the most commanding position either. So I think this will be a good draw, a good fixture. So maybe over the 2 legs, 4-3 to PSG.
I think PSG will win it comfortably because I think they'll get into a rhythm of form now.
Okay, Newcastle versus Barcelona.
I think Barca are going to thrash them.
Newcastle are in a very bad place at the moment. Barcelona are looking very good, so I have to agree with you. At current moment, it looks like probably 3-0 Barcelona over the 2 legs. Then we have Galatasaray versus Liverpool.
I'll let you do this one.
So we caught a hiding from Galatasaray a few months ago in the group stages, so I'm not confident, but I will say getting in this new set-piece coach that's we actually have 7 set-piece goals now this season, and
you guys have more than us this season,
and it only started a few weeks ago since that new person came in. So whoever that person is, they're doing a very good job.
Good recruitment from the board.
So hopefully the increased threat from the set pieces and the increased defensive awareness at set pieces, defending set pieces, I think will go a long way to helping. But maybe I think we might squeak through. Not like
Not
5-0.
comfortable, but
Yeah, like 2-1 maybe.
oh yeah,
And
like a 4-3. I feel like there's going to be a lot of goals, so I'll probably go with Liverpool, get through like 5-3 or something.
I was going to say 2-1 and we get a bullshit penalty that Salah converts and we just get past them. All right, Atletico Madrid versus Spurs.
I think Atletico are going to walk all over them, honestly.
Again, I haven't watched too much of Atletico this season. I did watch them against in the Champions League, right?
Yeah.
Against, was it Brugge? I don't know who they played, but whatever.
Oh, Brugge, yes, last the qualifier.
Yeah, so I watched them last week, so that's all I have. I don't have a full season worth of opinions on them.
But just the fact that they're generally a team that obviously they've struggled in finals against Real Madrid, but they generally rise to this occasion in the Champions League. They always, I think in the last 10 years or so, in the last 10 times they've qualified, I think 7 times they made the quarterfinals. So I would expect them to more or less be there again. So I think they're gonna destroy Tottenham. I think it's not even gonna be close.
Real Madrid versus Man City.
The yearly tie at this point.
Thoughts?
I think that's probably the closest one. Very hard to predict. I think right now I'm favoring Man City. I'm not if you're basing it on the which team looks more threatening, which team is playing the better football, it's Manchester City comfortably. But we know Real Madrid in the Champions League, and we know them in the big games. So this one I'm thinking could go all the way, right till extra time. It could swing either way. I'm favoring Man City. I give them the edge. But,
I'm basing this totally on the playoff that Real Madrid went through with Benfica, and I think City are going to destroy them. They were so poor. Arbeloa is out of his depth. Mbappe is just not doing enough, and he was injured in one of those games.
I just think I agree with you to some extent if I'm analyzing it at the surface level, but those Madrid players in big games, I think
this is not Madrid of
I'm talking more specifically about Vinicius and Mbappe. I think if Man City give them the chances they've been giving other teams, I think they could also score 3 or 4 comfortably.
We're just going to have to disagree on that. I think City are going to pump them 4-0 maybe. Bodo Glimt versus Sporting Lisbon.
I think probably can go anyway. This one's a tough one. I think Bodo, obviously they're riding on a lot of momentum, high on confidence, but something in me is saying Sporting is going to get through. I mean, they're doing well in the league. I think they're running away with the league. Porto's running away with the league, sorry. But I have a feeling Sporting will get through. I don't know why.
So I truly have no opinion on this. I did watch Bodo Glimt in the playoff, but I haven't seen one game of Sporting this season, so I can't comment on this at all. May the best team win. That being said, this looks like a very Europa League tie.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, I'm thinking it's just going to come down to both these teams want to sit deep, so who's going to take the initiative, and is that going to play into the other team's hands or not? So
Atalanta versus Bayern Munich.
Oh, I would love Atalanta to turn them over, but I don't see it happening. I think Bayern will get through comfortably.
I think Bayern are a bunch of frauds, and Atalanta are going to expose them. But I think Bayern might make it through by 1 goal.
I think they'll edge it in the end. Yeah.
Like a 5-4 or something. Just make it through, and then you'll see the chinks in Bayern's armor.
When they play? You guys.
I have no idea.
Yeah, they'll play you guys if they
okay, I'll just show you the graphic I'm looking at. This isn't the road to the final. This is just showing the fixtures, so I have no idea who plays who next.
Yeah, I think the road to the final did have you guys coming up against Bayern, I think, if you both get through.
Okay, well, I'm glad. I do not like Bayern. I think Kompany is a very overrated manager.
So you think you guys can turn them over if it came about?
Man, this is the one team, I think. Bodo Glimt will fuck us up. Bayern Munich, on the other hand, I'd love to get them. I'd love it. Yes, and then our final match of the round, Bayer Leverkusen versus Arsenal.
I mean, I heard people saying Ten Hag has a good record against Arsenal, but...
Ten Hag is not the coach of Leverkusen.
Oh, he's not anymore.
He was sacked within 4 weeks.
Yes, he was sacked within
very, very early on.
But I don't know why someone was tweeting that last night, though. So...
Yeah.
But I think Arsenal win comfortably, though. That's... I don't see us having any problems navigating that tie.
Yeah, Leverkusen have just lost too many players. Frimpong, Wirtz, whoever else. I don't know. Those are just the two.
The only problem with Arsenal is that we have the easy run. A team that has the easy run usually doesn't win. But
do you think perhaps complacency Like you think, oh, it's so easy that.
But the thing is, I think it would be easy and we'd get through both those ties. And the nice thing after that is that I think we'd play, for me, Barcelona are the best team in the world. I think we'd play them after that. So it's the ultimate test. If we get through that, I'd have every confidence that we can win it. But I expect us to fall at the feet of Barcelona.
Right. Any other notes or anything you want to say about, frankly, anything?
No, not really. I mean, I think we have some fixtures coming up this week, so just looking forward to those.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, give a like, etc.
Comment.
Importantly, it needs to be a 5-star review. If you give me less than a 5-star review,
I'll kill you.
Okay, that's a bit strong. I was going to say I'd give your podcast a 1 star. All right, killing.
we have different solutions.
Yeah. Both hurt the same though. Getting
Both
a 1
hurt
star
the
on
same.
your podcast and being killed.
It's dying on the inside versus dying
on the outside.
Exactly.
2 very equal things, yeah. You can find all our links at pdfootball.com. That's the letter P, the letter D, football.com. Please tell a friend, tell that friend to tell a friend, and tell a family member. Yeah, goodbye.
Thank you. I always forget the last moment because then I'm like...